Welcome, week 4, integrated science for grade 5. So today we'll be ending the topic life processes of living things. So from the beginning of this lesson, we'll establish that all living things experience or exhibit some life processes, and we listed all the life processes using an acronym Mrs. Grain. So if you're able to remember Mrs. Grain, you should be able to mention all the life processes. You should know how many life processes living things show when they are alive, and then you should be able to mention all of them. So M stands for movement, R respiration, S sensitivity, G growth, the other R reproduction, E stands for excretion, and then the N stands for nutrition. So you should know about all this. Today we are going to look at sensitivity of insects, and then we also look at sensitivity in plants, looking at the Mimosa plant, and then finally we'll also look at sensitivity in mammals. All these are so important for you to know how these living organisms are able to be sensitive in the environment. So please jump in and then we can study more. Sensitivity of insects. Have you seen an insect before? Give me some examples. So we have the ant, we have the butterfly, we have the mosquito, dragonfly, cockroach. So you can mention more. We have a lot of them. But if you have not seen one before, I will advise that you go for a nature walk to go and look for an insect. Try and catch it and bring it to the house and study it carefully. That will be a great one, right? You learn with practical things around you for you to see and have a feel of how the thing actually looks like. So sensitivity of insects. How do insects are able to find out what is around their environment? So instead of a nose for smelling like we all have, insects have antennae or an antenna on top of their heads. These antennae do the same job our nose does, but even better. The antennae can also be used for hearing or taste in some species of insects. They are sensory organs. So antennae, I believe you've heard the word antenna before. We use antenna for our television set in our homes. Okay, and these antennas are placed on top of our roofs to be able to get good signal for our television set. Good. So the work the antenna does for the TV is not different from what it does for the insects. So this antenna on top of the insect are able to detect some few things around the living organism, that is the insect. It's able to sense touch, air, motion, heat, vibration, that is any sound that gets closer to the insect, and then especially smell and taste. So this living organism, the insect, is able to smell and taste with its antenna. So let's look at some insects on our screen. We have the ant, the bee, the beetle, and I want you to look at it carefully. If you can see the antenna on top of the insect's head. You see the beetle, the butterfly, the bug. We have the caterpillar, the centipede, the cockroach, the cricket. You see the cricket? You see the dragonfly. Now, the next picture. Good. So you can see this is an ant. You can see the antenna right there on top of the head of the ant. Okay. So next is sensitivity in plants. Plants sense changes in their surroundings and respond to them. Plants are able to detect and respond to light, gravity, changes in temperature, chemicals, and even touch. Unlike animals, plants do not have nerves or muscles, so they cannot move very fast. A plant usually responds to change by gradually changing its growth rate or its direction of growth. A sense of direction. So looking into the picture, we have a flower. What type of flower is that? That's a sunflower. Okay. So how does the sunflower move? So in the daytime, the flower heads in a field of sunflowers slowly turn, tracking the sun's path across the sky. The movement is almost too slow to notice, but in the morning, the flower heads face east, and by evening, they face west. This is called phototropism, which means the movement of part of a body towards light. When you study the sunflower carefully, as the name goes, sun, so you realize that it has something to do with the sun. So early morning when the sun begins to rise from the east, if you have sunflower in your house, I would like you to take close notice of it. It begins to raise its head towards the sun, and as the sun moves across the sky, you realize that the sunflower tries to focus its head towards the direction of the sun. And we say this movement of the head of the sunflower is known as phototropism. There is difference between photosynthesis and phototropism. You know, photosynthesis is a process by which green plants manufacture their own food using carbon dioxide, water in the presence of light or sunlight. But phototropism, the movement of a part of a body towards light. Please take notice of that. Mimosa plant. When a mimosa plant, which is commonly known as the sensitive plant, is touched, its leaves fold in upon themselves and its stem droop. It is believed that this rapid folding deters herbivores and insects from eating the plant by making them appear smaller. So I would like you to take a nature walk. Try and locate a mimosa plant. If you have not seen some before, the mimosa plant, they are all around us. Even yesterday I was going somewhere, I met the mimosa plant and I used my foot to touch it, and I realized that there was a movement. So you realize that the leaves fold in upon themselves, and then the stem also does same, it droops. So the mimosa plant also shows this movement during the night and when it is exposed to heat and rain. This protects the plant from physical damage. So now the mimosa plant, I have never seen any herbivore, that is any animal that eats herbs, leaves, ever eating this kind of plant before, because immediately the herbivore touch it, it begins to show some sensitivity, it begins to food upon each other. So this is how the mimosa plant is able to protect itself from prey. So in your picture we have the mimosa plant. Okay, so this is the first picture, shows when it is open, when it has not been touched, or there's no obstacle that is getting closer to it. But the second picture tells you that, well, the mimosa plant has been touched, and see how it has folded itself on its branches. Sensitivity of mammals. Sensitivity of mammals. Our senses let us know what is going on in the world around us. Humans have 5 senses, which I believe you know. So the sense of hearing, the sense of sight, the sense of smell, the sense of touch, and the sense of taste. They are controlled by 5 sense organs. Which are the organs? So you can touch them: your ear, your eye. Don't touch your eye, you can hurt your eye. Your nose, your skin, and then your tongue. So in your picture, you can see the sense organs. You can see the ear for hearing, you can see the nose for smelling, you can see the tongue for taste, you can see the hand for touching, and then the eye for sight. To remember: 1. Life processes are things living things can do. That shows that they are alive or can have life in them. 2. All living things respire, that is, breathe to stay alive. So the organ responsible for breathing is known as respiratory organ. 3. Animals breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. 4. Plants breathe in carbon dioxide and breathe out oxygen. 5. Excretion is the process of removing toxic and waste substances from the body. So every living thing excretes. So for us, we have nutrition, that is the ability to eat. We should be able to excrete, remove the toxic metabolic substances out from our body. And then the 6th one: everything around us in our environment are things that are alive, things that were once alive, and things that never lived. And on the 6th point, that is what we will be doing for our next lesson: things that are alive, things that were once alive, and things that never lived. Until then, I wish you all the best. Try and do the activity on the next slide and forward it to me. Until then, bye bye.